Hello, my name is Allie Wright. This is my forum post number 2 for my Communication 100 class. I'm in the Social Justice and Environment group, and this is basically about selecting a topic for our informative speech. I've got this little list in front of me so I don't forget any of the points, but since I am in the Social Justice and Environment group, I thought I'd come up with a topic on each of them. Just so that I kind of just cover both bases and see which one I like better. For my first one, I thought it would be cool to touch on social justice in the form of politics, and especially in this day and age, the election is super, super important, and it's like the one thing on everybody's mind right now. I think specifically I want to touch on voting, maybe female voting, but I think that just touching on the importance of voting and the lack of voting in the United States would be a really cool subject to talk about. I think for me, this is important just because, I'm unable to vote. I'm not old enough to vote. And I think being educated before you vote is super important. And even though there are people who are more than capable of voting, they still don't. So I think it's super big to talk about like the lack of voting and how important it is. I think that an audience would be super engaged with this because I think everybody's super politically active right now, especially in my generation. People are super passionate about having their voice be heard, and I think it's super important that teens, millennials, young adults, old adults, people who are in the older generations, that they know how important voting is just in general. I think that this is just a part of honestly, this is a cultural identity. I mean, in the United States, this is just a part of our culture that, we live in a democracy where it's super important to have your voice be heard and put whoever in power that you want to be empowered. But, the country's super divided. But anyway, so that's for my social justice topic. I think for my environment topic, I wanted to touch on the Holiday Farm Fire, which I think would be a super cool statistic to touch on. Just the fires in Oregon, what causes them, ways to prevent them. I think this affected a lot of us who live in the Eugene-Springfield area in huge ways, especially Thurston area, and over in Blue River, Vida, all of those places. It affected our lives in huge ways. We had families whose homes were destroyed, friends whose homes and assets burned down. I mean, me personally, affected my work. I had to help friends evacuate and leave all their things behind. It was just a super scary situation, and I think that's why I have a lot of experience in that area, because I was there. I mean, we were all there. We all felt it. We all felt the nerves and the fear. I think that we never really think that anything will happen to us. We see fires happening in California and other places. And I think talking about the statistics of how often it's happening in Oregon and ways that we're able to prevent it, I think that would be really cool and engaging for an audience. I think that this is a personal identity for me just because I have had family who've lost their homes in that fire. So I think that just for me personally, it touches a little deeper. Not everybody's had that experience, but I think we've all as a community have felt the backlash of that whole fire in all the different areas, and especially in California and in Washington. I think we all kind of felt it, even if it wasn't affecting us and even if we didn't have to evacuate ourselves. So those are my 2 topics for my informative speech, and I'm excited to choose one. I'm excited to do topic research on them, and I'm looking forward to hearing everybody else's.